These images are off. Let's take a moment here to see what happened. This literally happened in real time. I thought the Obsessive DP. Welcome back to the Obsessive DP. I just recorded an entire segment, but this mic wasn't on, so I'm doing it all again. We have a fun new segment to unbox today, and that is unboxing products that people send to us. The way we're going to approach this segment is a little bit different than maybe other people. We're going to see if this product actually works in an on-set environment reliably and efficiently, because those are the most important to a cinematographer. Because I've been on set recently where I've had products and those products have not worked out well, and that has been very frustrating, caused me to sweat a lot, and it does not make you look good to the AD or to the director if the products that you're bringing are not working out, or they're overheating, or you have to wait for them to pop back on, or you have to go through each of them and turn them on individually with their specific settings other than just a blanket turn everything on. There's been a lot of issues recently, so I thought this would be an interesting segment, and we're gonna name it, Does It Work Well or Should You Resell?
Does it work? Is it useful? Does it work well? Or do you need to sell? Does it work well or should you resell?
So, if the product works well, you're gonna keep it. If the product is not working well on set and it's causing issues, you're gonna resell it. Let's get into it. This is called the Weeylite. All right, so let's check it out. So we got a box here, useless. We've got, the Weeylite. Weeylite. So, custom box. I actually didn't look up the price of this. I assume this is a low budget light. From what I can tell, it seems like that's what it is. It's hard to keep track of them all because there's so many lights coming out all the time from these Asian manufacturers. It's hard to tell like what's good quality and what's not. For me, I've just recently opened to having Aputure products in my sets. For a while, we didn't have any. And now we're starting to have more and more and more. I'm starting to see the usability of them. I'm starting to see them look better, have better color rendition. I'm assuming this is gonna be low quality, but let's check it out. Looks like they kind of followed it, which is cool. Reflective cone is nice, it reflects the light. Outward, wow, it's pretty small. So this is the light itself. Weeylite. Yeah, very similar to Aputure. I'm seeing a lot of similar Aputure things, where it has this cover for your diode. It has a readout. Actually, the readout doesn't look too bad. Oh, a Ninja 300. So that was the name of it, Ninja 300. So I'm assuming 300 watts. That's a lot smaller than the Aputure 300d. So that's interesting. Ooh, a remote. I've been using these a lot more recently. Super handy when you have lights hanging in the ceiling or above your head that you can't reach to adjust settings and they don't have a ballast that's adjustable. Some materials, fun reading later. This is cool, let's turn it on. All right, we just plugged in the old girl. Now, it says on. Oh, turning on. Whoa, okay. It's flashing. Doesn't seem right. Setting where it's supposed to flash. Oh, yeah, it was. Dimming to 0. 1's actually pretty low. I've had lights recently that are LED that don't dim that low. That's nice. 100. That, to me, does not look like 300 watts. Just eyeballing it. So I'm not sure where that 300 came from. M is this weird, that just looks chaotic. Okay, so you can go slower with the flashing, like a lightning, but it's too fast for lightning. Fireworks, lightning, fire, light bulb. Okay, that one's cool, like a bulb that's dying. Pretty much they all just flash. But it has a photo camera, so it's like paparazzi bulbs. TV, so you got a bunch of effects. You've got dimming, and it looks like we're stuck at 5600K. So this is just daylight, but it looks like, it's there in case there was a different light that they make that you could actually change to tungsten with. Let's actually check out some settings here. So first impressions, it's not bad. It's bright for sure. So I have a 90 watt right now that I'm using to light me, and this is definitely brighter than that. It's definitely brighter than that. So maybe it is 300 watts. I don't think this would match a 300D, but we should find out. We're gonna work on putting this through its paces. We're going to do some tests, some lighting tests, some color tests, and then some tests on set to see the reliability of it. We'll get back to you.
Alright, so we've actually been able to use the Weeylite now in about 5 different productions. Usually what we use it for is to shoot through windows and to give people edge light, because it has that extra punch. And we have a lot of other lights that already have softboxes, so we just use those. But it's been great for shooting through windows in order to just add an extra layer of edge to our characters. On this one here, we actually used it for an interview setup to light these plants. And it was really cool to be at the monitor with the remote, able to dim it up, able to dim it down, able to turn it on and off to see exactly what it's doing in real time. That's super neat to have. Here we used it in just an entryway setup. We faked it as the sun. You can see it here casting shadows with the couch and with that end table. That's actually the Weeylite shooting through the window there. And what it was able to do on the final cut is to give this nice little hair light to this baby. You can also see it on her arm. It just gives it a nice separation to the backdrop, and that worked well with the Weeylite. All right, let's actually now do a head-to-head test between the Weeylite Ninja 300 and the Aputure 300d. We're gonna use a light meter and a color meter for this and see the difference between the two lights. All right, starting off with the color meter, we have the Weeylite coming in at 5800 Kelvin, which is decently close to 56, so it doesn't bother me. And then 95 CRI, 95.5 CRI to be exact. And then here you can see the breakdown to the CRI. It's having some trouble with R12 there. That's pretty normal with LEDs. Even Airy has trouble with R12. Now let's see the aperture. It's getting a similar reading. You know, the biggest difference is that it's actually over 6,000 Kelvin, so it's actually much bluer and not really 5600, which I assume this light to be more 5600. And side by side, you see the R values are really similar. They're both low in R12. They're kind of swapping in some, whereas the Weeylite's better in R3 than the Aputure. The Aputure's better at R4 and 5 than the Weeylite, so it's all pretty similar. Actually, R9 here, one of the most important skin tone R values is this R9 here, and the Weeylite is slightly better. Very interesting. Moving on to the light meter, I'm going to start with the Weeylite. Let's see what we got as far as lux. So it's coming in at 18,000 lux. We tested here across the pattern, trying to find the most consistent, brightest light. Now let's go with the Aputure. The Aputure, this is very interesting. It's coming in at 14,000 lux. These images are off. Let's take a moment here to look at see what happened. This literally happened in real time. I thought the Weeylite was brighter than the Aputure, and I started freaking out for a second because I could not believe that a bigger brand like Aputure was being beat by the Weeylite. So I had to take a second here to look at the lights and realize that Team Edge didn't give me the reflector for this Aputure 300d, and it is making a huge difference. So now let's actually make them the same. So now let's take off the reflector on the Weeylite and see what we're coming in with. Yeah, a massive change from 18,000 lux down to 3,200 lux. This is a more even test now, and the Aputure is blowing it out by a factor of 5, which I would expect. The Aputure is a much bigger light, has a way bigger ballast, and I also was able to put the Weeylite reflector, just place it over the light here and see what's coming through, and yeah, it is a huge difference from 18,000 with the Weeylite with a reflector to 62,000 with the Aputure with that same reflector. So there is a clear winner here. No surprises. The Weeylite is useful, but if you want an Aputure 300d, you want an Aputure 300d. There's way more light coming out of that thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Weeylite, for sending that light. Stay obsessed.